Joe? It's okay. Pick it up. The sharp-looking spider. Does he have a top hat on and a monocle? Is that why he looks sharp? Welcome back to Mulberry Branch Farm, y'all. It is Ashley here with you again. It's a lovely day in the Hoosier State. Pretty humid. Getting ready for family time later on with some fishing and grilling out. But for right now, we've got some chores to take care of. The biggest thing that's laying on my mind today is how stinking big my Cornish Rock Crosses have gotten. I mean, like, there's a reason they call them sea monsters, because these guys do grow quickly to an enormous size. So today we need to figure out what we can move them to, because I'm going to run into a little bit of a traffic jam with my brooder. And the reason for that being is we're probably going to be getting some new friends on the farm. Some new friends. So I will need this brooder come mid-July. It is towards the end of June right now. So while I might be dragging my feet thinking I've got plenty of time, I am the queen of procrastination, but that will sneak up on me in a heartbeat. So I've got my brooder here, and guys, you can see a big difference. They're off heat. They're 3 weeks today, 3 or 4 weeks. I'll have to look at the date that I got them. But you guys can see there is a big difference in the size of our Cornish Rock Crosses, and then you've got like the Colombian Wyandottes down here. You can tell there's a big size difference. And it's about this time that I start worrying if that size difference is going to hinder my egg-laying hens, because obviously these guys are demanding a lot of feed. So what my plan is to get these guys into a chicken tractor to free up my brooder and move my egg layers out to the coop so they can start to acclimate with my normal flock. Now, I don't just put them in overnight, because y'all, you ain't fooling a chicken by putting in a stranger overnight. They're going to realize that there are strangers there, and they're still going to establish a pecking order, and it can get pretty ugly pretty fast. So I do not just dump them in overnight and think we're going to trick them into it. It just don't happen. So with that being said, guys, we've got supplies. We're trying to repurpose things, and I don't know why I'm singing to you, but we are trying to repurpose a lot of things. I did have to go buy lumber, because that's the one thing we're going through a lot of right now. We are just in the middle of so many projects. I didn't need to get the hardware cloth, because I already have a lot of that. My mom and dad were taking apart some of their old coops and had mentioned, hey, do you want this hardware netting? Of course I do, because that stuff's like gold right now. So let's go ahead, let's get going. But I'm gonna get all my supplies in here, and we'll get to making a chicken tractor. And mine's a little bit different because I want mine to be collapsible. Sturdy, predator proof, but collapsible when I'm done. I might be wishing for the unicorn of chicken tractors, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, guys, I think I've got everything here in like the cutest supervisor goat in the world. Her name is Rosie. If you guys haven't met Rosie, she is our latest baby on the farm. We're gonna go ahead and get this ready to go. I've got my lumber and hardware there, metal for the roof, hardware cloth. I've got my saw set up over here, and drill, tape measure. Just keep in mind, guys, I am not a carpenter. I usually just like guesstimate and rig things to make them work. Sometimes what I make is actually pretty good, so let's hope today it's pretty good. Now, the reason I want them out on a chicken tractor, I actually have some spots in my lawn that could use a little fertilizing, could use a little bit of scratching, and not to mention that grass is to develop nice, healthy meat. So it's kind of a win-win for them and for me. So let's get to it, guys. I can't wait to bring you along on this one. Okay, so we've got the frame cut. Now we're gonna go ahead, screw it together. I'm using brackets and I'm driving screws in long ways. I'm also going to brace up every edge of the frame at a 45-degree angle, and I'll be creating supports probably every 2.5 feet in there. I picked to make this 7 feet long. It's only gonna have 8 meat chickens in it, so I figure I can adjust how wide I want it or how narrow I want it because of the way that the top is going to hinge. Now this could be a total bust. I might make this, hate it, scrap it, start over. In which case, you guys have another video coming, but if I like it, you guys will be seeing a lot more of it. So I'm using braces right here, like the hardware braces. Now, I'd like to put one on the other side on these corners and on these T-brackets. I bought enough T-brackets, but not enough L's. And the reason I didn't buy a lot of L brackets is I am planning to take wood and to make like cross braces so that I can actually take braces from here to there. Instead of me trying to figure out angles, I'm actually going to just take a piece of wood and lay it underneath of it. Since I've got this middle brace, I really don't foresee when I start to manipulate that it kind of shifts back and forth, where I'm actually going to put a board from about right in here to over there and actually mark out that angle so that I can cut it on my saw, and then I'll have my braces. So I'm hoping with adding that this will be sturdy, or not as sturdy as it could be, because really if I wanted it to be sturdy, I would pre-drill holes, set screws, set bolts, everything like that. But the way I look at this too, if this design that I've come up with up here doesn't work, then I haven't completely ruined lumber. I've got a few holes in it where I can just pop these brackets off and reuse them some other way for another chicken tractor if I test this out for about a week or two and figure this is not going to work for us. So hopefully we only tweak this and we don't have to start over. So that's the reason why I'm using a lot of the brackets and not really doing a lot of pre-drilling, insetting, and things like that you might see on more professional chicken tractor do-it-yourself tutorial videos. So that's what we're doing. You guys might also notice too, I'm going to try to use this wood as efficiently as I can. So I'm trying to butt up corners when I'm cutting angles, and I'm going to try to use the second angle that's left on the board to use on the next cut. That's just a good way to get the most out of your board as you can, because more bang for your buck, baby, all day long here on a homestead. All right, so we got the master out with me. He making sure it's sturdy because he knows how I work. He likes to measure things and I just throw things out there, but it's sturdier if you measure things. So he had the bright idea to just, because I didn't make sure this was square from corner to corner, we're actually just going to leave it laying down and use it as a template so that it mirrors the other side, because if one side is square and one side isn't, it's going to compromise the structural soundness of this thing, if I could even say that. So good having him out here. Thanks, babe. So we're going to go ahead and get this template. Hopefully that'll give us two sides, and then I can dismiss him to go in and cool off, and I'll just put on the netting. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to do the ends, because I need to be able to get into this. So one of these triangle ends, I'm hoping will have a hinge where it flips down. But like I said, this is like my unicorn of chicken tractors because it's portable and I can hang it up and collapse it and everything. So we'll see how that goes, guys. Hopefully here in a little bit, I'll be able to bring you closer to a finished project. All right, guys, after we use the template, it's pretty stinking easy. So thank goodness for my husband. He's wonderful, much smarter than I am in the construction area, so really helped me out there. I have a new supervisor, Sky. Sky is back there. Sky. Hey, Sky. Supervisor. All right, so we've got the netting on one side. I'm stopping for today because I'm tired, so I'll see y'all tomorrow.
It's a baby.
Oh man, there's a baby killing you. Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. It's all green.
I think it just grabbed it. All right, we're back. We got to go fishing last night. Got to sit out in the heat on the water, but there's just something about sitting out on the water when it's hot. It just doesn't seem as hot as it usually is. So we're back today. We had a breakout last night. Apparently when we left to go fishing and enjoy the evening with family, I had a breakout of goats. So now I'm kind of on a watch to see if they bloat because they ate rabbit feed, chicken feed, and they got into my feed room and got into some goat feed. So there's that. So they did get out here and they kind of tap danced a little bit on here. My screen's pushed in, but it's really not a big deal. If anything, it was a good test for predators. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and fix that. And it's because on this side, I didn't hammer it in all the way. So, what, Joe?
There's a spider.
It's okay. Pick it up.
It's sharp looking.
It's a sharp looking spider. Does he have a top hat on and a monocle? Is that why he looks sharp?
No, his legs, they look like those.
All right, guys, let's get to finishing this chicken tractor. All right, so we got our netting on. All the hardware cloth is on there, and there are a couple spots here, guys, that I'm gonna have to predator proof because when you use secondhand hardware cloth or chicken wire or whatever you decide to use, even though for predator proofing, I'm going to strongly recommend a 1/4 inch hardware cloth. You could probably get away with 1/2 inch, but mink and weasel can still get through 1/2 inch hardware cloth. So they're prolific killers. Once they get in, they will keep visiting until your flock is dead. So just spend the extra money, guys. Get the 1/4 inch. But with that being said, we had a lot of secondhand 1/4 inch hardware. So you're seeing like down here, I have pieced together. It was long enough, but it wasn't wide enough really. So I had an extra pile over here and I'm just kind of piecing it all together. Now I'm actually gonna go through and I'm going to wire. I've got a very fine wire like this, and I'm going to actually weave it in there to make sure that it can't be pushed. Then the next part is going to be actually putting hinges on the very tops of these and hinging those together and figuring out what angle I want my ends to be, because I also would like my ends to be hinged to where when they're not being used, the triangle is going to sit like this, it'll close, and then they'll fold over on either side so that we can just put it up on the wall and hang it until we're ready to use it again. Like I said, this isn't the only way you can do it, guys. It's just the way that I think it's going to work best for me and my family, and with how often we're raising our meat chickens. All right, y'all, so we're done weaving that wire between the two pieces of hardware cloth so that predators can't kind of wiggle in there, because trust me, guys, where there's a will, there's a way. A coon, a weasel, an owl will figure it out, a way to get your birds if you're not careful. So we've got that. I've got Sky's out here supervising. Rosie's over there really taking the supervisory role of sitting back and watching me from a distance. I think she's doing my farm evaluation right now, so high hopes, I get high marks. So we're gonna go ahead and line these up now and go ahead and put the hinges, because once I get the hinges on there, that's really going to decide my ends, because this is a triangle. I know I could probably use the length, but I'm not quite sure about the angle that I want yet. So once I get it hinged and I kind of move it around to see what I like, I'll be able to then take measurements, mark boards, and get to creating the doors for each side. So I'll probably frame them out. One will be solid and the other one will actually have a flip down door so that I can just flip it down, take food and water in and out and change it as needed. And I somehow have to figure out how I'm going to fix wheels to this thing. So I'm spontaneous, guys. I have a vision, but sometimes I just don't know how to make that vision come to fruition. The vision to fruition part is a little hard for me. So we're gonna go ahead and get that done. I hope I bring you back and it's already up and we're doing measurements. So stick around, guys. What is kind of the idea here, guys? So I only used 3 hinges at the top, and there's a small gap, but obviously there's going to be that with hinges. I mean, there's really no way to make that flush unless it's all the way closed. So I do plan to take a tarp. I was going to use that old tin, but I just don't think, my forethought wasn't there. Again, my vision and fruition issue. I don't have enough supports right here to get that tin on there, and honestly a tarp is adjustable and cheap, so I can use my pretty rusty tin for something else around the farm. But this is basically what we're working with. We're going to be building the sides, and I want them to hinge on here and sling out and over when we're storing, but then they sling down and in, and it kind of locks this to the angle that I desire. So I'm not quite sure what angle I desire yet, but yeah, it's time for a break though. It's time for a break. What do you think, babe?
Looks pretty awesome.
Looks pretty okay.
Turns out.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but this was the bane of my existence. I am not a carpenter. I said at the beginning. I'm not good at taking measurements, cutting in degrees. So I kind of just felt my way through this. It's done! It's done. It's done. We're done. No more torture. No more torture. No, really, guys, it really wasn't that bad. Okay, guys. This is day 6 of working on the chicken tractor. I cut out a lot because I wasn't ladylike while I was building this thing. I had a lot of frustration. It was really hot. All of the things that you can think to happen while you're building a project that you thought would be a quick project happened and made it not a quick project. But look! Da 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 da! My chicken tractor! My collapsible, portable, A-frame chicken tractor. But I guess the fact that it's a tractor means it's portable anyways. But there it is! I feel really accomplished, guys. This is like the first real thing that I've ever built by myself. Now my husband, he helped me with the sides. Once I got the one side framed out, he's like, hey, just make it a template and lay the other wood on top of it and mark it out and it's gonna be exactly the same. Saved me a lot of time. It was really great. But then everything else, guys, like I did the doors and the frame. Look at the frame of the door. It's not bad at all. I'm really excited about it, and it works because, well, I'll show you guys. This is how it works. Guys, so I kind of came into a little bit of a conundrum because I found that with working these doors the way that I am, they could go all the way inside and put a lot of stress on my hinges. So what I did, as you guys can see right there, right here, this just kind of acts as a stop for the door. So that way, regardless of what's going on, and I'm dragging it forward, there's a little bit of a stop right in there. And again, right, it's just a little piece of like 1x6 that I cut in half, screwed into the frame. So the next thing that we did, when we put this in, just make sure it's nice and snug, and I chose these snaps, these types of snaps, so that I literally can just put it in. Oh goodness, maybe you guys will like see it. So I do that, and then I just push that down and give it a little screw or a bolt to drop down as a pin to keep it from rattling loose. The same down here, so you guys can see. Literally just put that on like so, that down, drop a little bolt, and there you go, voila. So it's really not bad, and the wheels are super easy, though I looked these up and I'm sure there were kits for sale and everything like that, but I just used a scrap 2x4, and honestly guys, like the longer these are the better, because then the less you're going to have to actually move this up in order to get traction for your wheels. So you guys can see, here's my 2x4. I drilled through, these are 5/16 bolts. Now this is a 6-inch. I wanted to give myself plenty of room. You guys can see on the other side I have plenty of room. So I probably could have gotten away with like a 5-inch or maybe even a 4.5. But I wanted to give this some room to play just because this is a slanted area. So, and I've got my wheel, which I just bought, like little lawnmower wheels. And then this rope here attaches up right here, and it pulls it up. And when you pull it up, I got just an eye hook right there. And you can see that it engages this to lift it up off the ground so that you don't have any drag while you're pulling your tractor forward. You just pull this loose, let her go back down. Make sure that it's completely disengaged so that your tractor is snug on the ground. So I've got that on both sides. It's really easy. I did try to do one that just connects to my 2x4, runs up and over and connects to the other one, but that was just really hard to get the measurements right, and for it to pull up, like you'd almost, it was just a whole thing. So honestly, I'm just going to recommend that you have a shorter point for your eye hook here down to your 2x4, and that'll help engage your wheels. Super easy, just one side then the other, then let them down, pull forward. So I do have a tarp to keep this rainproof, and you guys might see, like, I don't have it where there's a whole lot of sun getting into this, but Cornish cross meat birds tend to have heart issues. So if they get too hot and their body's working too hard to cool themselves down, they're going to expire quickly, and fair is only a few weeks away. So you might be asking, Ashley, why'd you build this tractor with only a few weeks to go? Well, I think my birds are actually going to be in this for about 4 weeks total, because it's not even July yet and my butcher date is at the end of July. I'm actually letting my birds mature a lot longer than I want to. I would love to have done them right after fair at the 8-week mark, but butchers are just packed with everything going on. I couldn't get my birds in on time, so they're actually going to mature out to about 10 weeks, but the normal butchering time period for Cornish Rock Crosses and most meat birds is 6 to 8 weeks, because they mature and put on muscle so fast. So the other reason that I decided to build this, I have a turkey that likes to set on clutches of eggs. I actually have 2 hens right now that are broody, so I'm hoping that when they have their babies, I can actually move them into the chicken tractor pretty close to my regular coop, so that they have access to scratch and everything else and can see my flock, but they'll be safe from older and jealous hens pecking the chicks to death, because guys, I'm sorry, I've had it done. Also, our bunny would love this. Bun would love to get out on the grass on this. So this tractor actually has a lot of different uses, but guys, I'm so proud of myself. This is probably the most intricate thing I've ever built by myself. And while the A-Frame is not an unusual chicken tractor, I didn't think there was one that was collapsible. So I tried to think about how can I make this completely collapsible. So I can literally just lay this down or put it up on blocks in my kidding barn over there and just lean it up against the wall when it's not being used. So this will, these sides flip out onto this side, and they both open up on the same side. So you'll see that I've got hinges here, and it's going to open up this way, and it's the same down here where we've also got hinges on this way. So they both fold out this way, and then it folds in on itself. So it's kind of like how you fold a towel sometimes. It's a collapsible A-frame chicken tractor, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm sure there are people out there that have done it and they've got plans and everything else, but I'm just not that kind of person. I really like to go at things a little bit differently and try to add my own spins to it. So yeah, guys, I mean, it's a lot of trial and error. You guys see my door here. My door actually goes to about right here is the seam, but I've got these two pieces of wood on the outside, and that's so if a predator comes, they definitely can't pull it this way, but they can't push it in either, because you've actually got the door itself is keeping that from happening. Now I do need to fix my 1/4 inch hardware cloth right there, and the sides I feel like these are just asking for a weasel or a mink to get in, but I haven't had a weasel or a mink for like 2 years. And this will be kept close to my house in the light. So hopefully that'll do some good for me. But if it comes down to it, I can always attach wood on the inside of this frame right here, so that it kind of runs out and meets that. Yeah, it makes it a little bit chunkier, probably adds a little bit of weight, but honestly, this is sturdy enough where, I mean, it's sturdy, everything's held together, and it's completely collapsible. So unicorn right there. You guys see the horn right there just coming off of it? Sparkles, rainbows. That is my unicorn of chicken tractors. So with that being said, guys, I'm signing off. I hope you all stay happy and healthy out there. Remember to be kind, and if you found yourself at all enjoying my video on how to make an A-frame collapsible chicken tractor, go ahead, let us know. Drop us a like, leave us a comment. If you see some place here that I can improve, please share it with me. I'd love to improve this design. But if you found yourselves wanting to commit to us, maybe on a more serious level, go ahead and subscribe, but don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our projects or any craziness we have going on here at Mulberry Branch Farm. So until next time, guys, thanks for being here with us. Bye.